My job is to find missing people. After this case, I've never been the same. The call came at 2 a.m. My phone lit up the dark bedroom. Unknown number. I answered anyway. Professional hazard. Mr. Dalton? Yes. Who's this? My name is Patricia Voss. My daughter is missing, along with 2 of her friends. They've been gone for 9 days. I sat up, turned on the lamp. 9 days is a long time. Have you contacted police? They're not helping. Say the girls are adults. Say they probably just wanted space. Road trip gone long. But I know my daughter. She wouldn't just stop calling. Not for 9 days. Something's wrong. I can feel it. Tell me everything. Patricia's daughter, Megan, was 22. Recent college graduate. Traveling with childhood friends Zoe and Iris. Cross-country road trip. Started in Boston. Headed west toward California. Route planned through small towns and scenic areas. They'd been posting on social media constantly for the first week. Regular updates every few hours. Photos at diners, roadside attractions, mountains, state lines, happy smiling faces. Then nothing. Complete radio silence. Last post was from somewhere in Wyoming. Photo at a gas station. After that, they vanished. No posts, no calls, no texts. Nothing. I took the case immediately. Patricia wired my retainer within the hour. $5,000 up front. More when I found them. She sent me everything she had. Phone numbers, social media login credentials, car description and license plate, blue Subaru Outback, 2019 model. Photos of all 3 girls, insurance information, credit card statements, everything a desperate mother could think of. I started with phone records. Called in a favor with a contact at Verizon. Got the call logs for all 3 phones. They painted an interesting picture. Regular calls and texts for the first 7 days. Then on day 8, all 3 phones went dark simultaneously. Around 3:15 p.m. Mountain Time. No calls out, no texts, no data usage. Like someone had switched them all off at exactly the same time. That wasn't normal behavior. Young people don't turn off phones, ever, especially not all together. Not unless something forced them to, or someone forced them to. I pulled up their social media accounts, scrolled backward through the road trip photos, tried to establish a timeline. Day 1, they left Boston, stopped in Albany. Day 2, they hit Buffalo, Niagara Falls. Day 3, Cleveland. Day 4, Chicago. They'd stayed an extra day there. Navy Pier, Millennium Park, Michigan Avenue. Day 6, they were in Iowa. Day 7, South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, Badlands. Day 8, Wyoming. That's where the trail ended. Last photo showed all 3 girls at a Texaco station, pumping gas, smiling, mountains visible in background, Wyoming license plates on cars in frame. I ran the image through reverse location software, found the exact station. Small town called Elk Ridge, population 800, middle of absolutely nowhere, 2 hours from the nearest city, surrounded by national forest. I called the Texaco. Phone rang 6 times before someone picked up. Yeah? Woman's voice. Older, tired, annoyed. I'm calling about 3 girls who stopped there about 9 days ago. Blue Subaru. Early 20s. Do you remember them? Hold on. Rustling sounds. Yeah, I remember. Pretty girls. City girls. Not from around here. What about them? Did they seem okay when they left? Any problems? Any men bothering them? They seemed fine. Bought snacks, filled up, asked me about the scenic route west. Which road was prettiest? I told them Highway 16. Goes through the mountains. Beautiful views. She paused. Why? What happened to them? They're missing. Haven't been heard from since they left your station. Oh, God. The woman's voice changed. Became worried. I knew something felt off. What felt off? Can't explain it. Just a feeling. Like someone was watching them. Watching the station. I looked around but didn't see nobody. Probably just me being paranoid. Did you see their car leave? Which direction? West. Toward the highway. Like I told them. Was anyone following them? Not that I saw, but like I said. I had a feeling. I thanked her and hung up. Pulled up Highway 16 on Google Maps. Long, desolate stretch. Winding mountain road cutting through forest. Very few towns. Even fewer services. Cell towers were sparse. Perfect place for something bad to happen. Perfect place to disappear. I packed my gear that night. Laptop, camera, recording equipment, weapon. License to carry in most states, including Wyoming. Drove out first thing in the morning. 12-hour drive from my office in Chicago to Elk Ridge, Wyoming. Arrived just after dark. Town was dead. Looked abandoned almost. 1 motel with a flickering vacancy sign. 2 restaurants both closed. Texaco station still open. That was it. I checked into the motel. Room smelled like decades of cigarette smoke and mildew. Bed sagged in the middle. Carpet was stained. TV was ancient. Didn't matter. I wasn't here for comfort. Morning came cold and gray. Temperature had dropped to 38 overnight. I could see my breath. Went to the Texaco first thing. Same woman working the counter. She recognized me immediately from my voice. You're the one who called. About those girls. That's me. Thomas Dalton. Private investigator. She studied me. Looked me up and down. Assessing. You think something bad happened to them? I think they didn't just stop calling their families for no reason. She nodded slowly. My name's Dorothy. Been running this station 32 years. Seen a lot of people come through. Most keep going. Some don't. What do you mean some don't? Dorothy lit a cigarette. Took a long drag. This area, these mountains. Things happen out here. People disappear. Happens more than you'd think. How often? She shrugged. Once every few years, maybe. Usually hikers, campers, folks who go off trail and get lost. But sometimes it's different. Different how? She leaned closer, lowered her voice even though we were alone. Sometimes it's not an accident. I felt my stomach tighten. You think someone's taking people? I think these mountains are big. Lots of places to hide. Lots of folks living off-grid. Some of them. She paused. Some of them ain't right in the head. Has anyone reported this? To police? She laughed. Bitter sound. Police around here are worthless. Sheriff's department covers 3 counties. Got maybe 6 deputies for hundreds of square miles. They don't care about missing outsiders. Got their hands full with local problems. I need to drive Highway 16, retrace their route. You be careful out there, Dorothy said. Cell service drops after 5 miles. Radio goes to static. You break down, you're on your own. Could be hours before another car comes by. I'll be careful. I left. Got in my car. Headed west on Highway 16. The road was narrow. 2 lanes. No shoulder. Trees pressed close on both sides. Dense forest. Pine and aspen. Mountain peaks visible through gaps. Beautiful in a desolate way. I drove slowly, watching for anything unusual. Skid marks, debris, signs of an accident. Mile 5, the cell signal died. Just like Dorothy said. No bars. No service. Radio turned to static between stations. I was completely cut off. Mile 10, I started seeing tire marks. Lots of them. From many different vehicles over time. Nothing unusual. Mile 15, the road climbed. Switchbacks carved into mountainside. Steep drop-offs with no guardrails. Mile 20, I saw them. Fresh skid marks. Dark rubber burned into asphalt. They curved sharply, led straight toward the shoulder, toward the drop-off. I pulled over immediately, got out, examined the marks. Definitely fresh. Within the past 2 weeks. The pattern showed sudden braking, hard braking, panic braking, then swerving, like trying to avoid something, or someone. The marks ended at the shoulder. I walked to the edge, looked down. Steep embankment, maybe 60 feet. Heavy tree cover below, thick undergrowth, hard to see bottom. But I could see broken branches, disturbed foliage. Something large had gone down there recently. I grabbed my flashlight and camera, started climbing down. Rocks were loose, shifted under my feet. Trees provided handholds. I descended carefully. Took 10 minutes to reach the bottom, and there it was. Blue Subaru Outback, license plate matched. Megan's car. Front end was completely destroyed. Wrapped around a massive pine tree. Windshield shattered. Hood crumpled. Airbags deployed. Both front doors were open. Back doors closed. Nobody inside. I approached carefully. Documented everything with my camera. Examined the exterior first. Damage was severe but not catastrophic. Survivable crash. The airbags had deployed properly. Seatbelt marks on the seats showed they'd been worn. These girls should have walked away. Maybe injured but alive. I checked the interior. Blood on the driver's seat. Not much. Smear on the headrest. Another smear on the steering wheel. Passenger side had blood too. On the door handle. The dashboard. Like someone with a bloody hand had touched them. Back seat was empty. Clean. Personal items were scattered everywhere. Phones. 3 of them. All dead. I collected them. Evidence. Wallets were still there. Driver's licenses showed Megan, Zoe, and Iris. Credit cards, cash. Over $300 between them. Nobody takes phones and wallets when fleeing a crash. Not unless they can't. Not unless someone stops them. I searched the cargo area. Suitcases were still packed. Clothes, toiletries, laptop, camera. Everything you'd expect from a road trip. Nothing missing except the girls themselves. I climbed out. Walked around the crash site. Looking for footprints. Signs of where they went. Found them quickly. Drag marks in the dirt. Multiple sets. Leading away from the car. Away from the road. Deeper into the forest. Someone had pulled them out. Pulled them away. Against their will based on the marks. Heels dug in. Resistance. I followed the trail. It led 200 yards through dense trees. Then it reached a dirt road. Narrow. Overgrown. Barely visible. But there. Tire tracks in the mud. Large vehicle. Truck probably. Heavy tread pattern. The tracks headed north. Away from the highway. Deeper into the mountains. Into the national forest. I marked the location on my GPS. Took photos. Then hiked back up to the highway. Took another 30 minutes. I was sweating despite the cold. Back at my car, I tried my phone. Still no service. I needed to report this. Needed backup. I drove back toward Elkridge. Service returned around mile 5. I immediately called the sheriff's department. Elkridge County Sheriff. How can I help you? I need to report a found vehicle. Possible accident with missing persons. What's the location? Highway 16. Mile marker 20. Vehicle went off the embankment. Blue Subaru. 3 occupants missing. Are the occupants injured? Unknown. They're gone. I found evidence they were removed from the scene. By who? Unknown. But it appears they were taken against their will. I'll send a deputy out. Stay at the location. I drove back. Waited at mile marker 20. Deputy arrived 40 minutes later. Young guy, mid-20s. Looked barely old enough to shave. Name tag said Deputy Mills. He took my statement. Looked skeptical the whole time. You're saying someone kidnapped 3 women from a car crash? I'm saying 3 women are missing from a crashed vehicle. Their phones and wallets were left behind. There are drag marks and tire tracks leading away from the scene. That's what I found. Mills walked to the edge, looked down. That's a hell of a climb. You went down there? That's my job. I find missing people. He radioed it in. Talked to someone at the station. Came back. Sheriff wants to see you. Now. I followed Mills back to Elkridge. Sheriff's station was a small building attached to the courthouse. 1 story. Brick. American flag out front. Inside was cramped. 3 desks, filing cabinets, coffee pot. Sheriff was older, 50s maybe, gray hair, thick mustache. Name tag said Sheriff Ryland, Mr. Dalton. I'm told you found a crashed vehicle. That's correct. With 3 missing occupants. Yes, 3 women from Boston. On a road trip. Been missing 9 days. Families hired me to find them. Ryland leaned back in his chair. And you think someone took them from the crash site? Evidence suggests it. Why would someone do that? That's what I intend to find out. Ryland was quiet for a moment. Then, Mr. Dalton, I appreciate your concern, but this is police business now. We'll handle the investigation. I found them. I'm not backing off. You don't have a choice. You're a civilian. No jurisdiction here. This is my county. My case. You need to step back. Let us do our jobs. I wanted to argue. Wanted to tell him about Dorothy's warnings, about people disappearing, about the drag marks and tire tracks. But his expression made it clear. He didn't want my help. Didn't want an outsider involved. Fine. I'll step back. But I'm staying in town. Those families hired me. I owe them answers. Do what you want. Just stay out of our way. I left. Drove back to the motel. Called Patricia. Told her what I'd found. She broke down crying. Is she alive? Are they alive? I don't know. But I'm going to find out. The sheriff won't let me work officially. But I'm not leaving until I have answers. Thank you. Please, please bring her home. I'll do everything I can. That night I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about those drag marks, those tire tracks. Someone local, probably. Someone who knew that stretch of road, who maybe caused the crash deliberately, who waited for victims. I pulled up property records for the area, looking for homes near that dirt road. Found 3. 1 was abandoned, foreclosed 2 years ago. 1 belonged to an elderly couple, unlikely suspects. 3rd one was registered to Leonard Voss. No other information, just a name and deed. I ran Leonard Voss through every database I had access to. Found a driver's license. Age 53. No criminal record, no arrests, no warrants. Clean on paper. But that didn't mean anything. Plenty of monsters have clean records until they get caught. I pulled up satellite imagery of his property. Remote location. 10 miles off the highway. Surrounded by forest. Large house. Several outbuildings. No visible neighbors. Perfect isolation. Perfect privacy. I needed to check it out, but carefully. Couldn't just drive up. Not if he was dangerous. Not if he had the girls. I'd need to surveil first. Approach at night, maybe. See what I could learn before making a move. Next morning, I drove out early. Found the turnoff. Unmarked dirt road exactly where the tire tracks had led. I parked my car a mile back, hidden off the main road in trees, grabbed my camera and binoculars, started hiking. The dirt road was rough, full of potholes and ruts. Hadn't been maintained in years, but fresh tire tracks were visible. Recent use. I stayed off the road, moved through trees parallel to it, slower, but safer. Took an hour to cover 2 miles. Then I saw the house, old farmhouse, 2 stories, white paint peeling, windows dark, looked abandoned from a distance. But there was smoke rising from the chimney. Someone was home. I circled wide, found a position uphill with clear sight lines, set up my camera with telephoto lens, settled in to watch. Hours passed. Nothing happened. No movement, no vehicles, just smoke from the chimney. Around noon, a truck appeared, coming up the dirt road. Old Ford F-250, rusted, dirty. It pulled up to the house. Man got out, tall, heavy build, wearing work clothes. He went inside, came out 20 minutes later carrying something, garbage bags. He threw them in the truck bed, drove away. I waited until he was gone, then moved closer, approached the house from behind, stayed low, used outbuildings for cover. Got within 50 yards. The house was bigger up close, 2 stories, full basement based on the foundation, multiple entrances, main door, back door, basement access maybe. I watched for another hour. No movement inside, no lights, no sounds. The man didn't return. This was my chance. I approached the house carefully, tried the back door first, locked. Windows were boarded from inside. Couldn't see in, couldn't open them. I circled around, found a basement window, small, half hidden by overgrown bushes. It wasn't boarded, wasn't locked, just slightly open. I knelt down, peered inside. Darkness, complete darkness. I listened, heard nothing. This was a bad idea. I knew it was a bad idea. But those girls might be inside, might need immediate help. I couldn't wait for the sheriff, couldn't waste time getting warrants. I had to know now. I opened the window wider. It creaked, loud in the silence. I froze. Waited. No response from inside. I squeezed through. Tight fit. My shoulders barely made it. I dropped down, 5-foot drop, landed on concrete, cold concrete. My flashlight barely cut through the darkness. Basement was huge, divided into sections. Storage area immediately around me, boxes stacked, old furniture covered in sheets, dust everywhere, smell of mold and decay. I moved forward carefully, quiet as possible. Wood stairs led up to the main floor. I tested each step. Some creaked, some were solid. Reached the top. Door was closed but unlocked. I eased it open, inch by inch, hallway beyond. Dark, silent. Floorboards were old, creaked with every step. I moved through the house slowly, checking each room. Kitchen was dated, 70s appliances, dirty dishes in the sink, smell of rot. Living room had old furniture, TV, no decorations, no personal touches, just functional. Upstairs I found 3 bedrooms, all empty. Beds unmade, clothes scattered, signs of life but no people. Bathroom was filthy, no hot water, toilet didn't flush properly. This place was barely livable, but no sign of the girls, no sign of anyone except that man. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this wasn't the place. Then I heard it, below me, in the basement. Muffled sound, like someone crying, trying to be quiet. I went back downstairs, fast, back to the basement, stood at the bottom, listened. The sound came again, definitely crying. But where? I searched the basement, shined my flashlight everywhere. Nothing, just storage, just junk. But the sound continued, behind the walls. I examined every wall, knocked on them, listening for hollow spaces, found it. North wall, sounded different, hollow. Hidden room maybe. I pushed on the wall, it didn't move, pulled at the edges, found a seam, hidden door, concealed panel. I worked it, took 5 minutes to figure out the mechanism. Finally it opened, narrow passage beyond, leading down, deeper underground. My heart was racing. This was it. This was where he kept them. The passage was tight, dirt walls, wooden support beams, low ceiling. I had to crouch. Flashlight beam bounced off walls. 20 feet down it opened into a room, carved into earth, reinforced with old timber, and inside, the girls, all 3, Megan, Zoe, Iris, tied to chairs, gagged, clothes dirty and torn, faces bruised, eyes wide with terror. Oh my God. I rushed forward. Are you hurt? Can you move? They nodded frantically. Tried to speak through gags. I'm Thomas Dalton, private investigator. Your family's hired me. I'm getting you out of here. I pulled out my knife, started cutting Megan's ropes. They were thick, took time. Behind me I heard movement. The passage entrance went dark, someone blocking the light. I turned. Man stood there, the same one from this morning. Tall, heavy, holding a shotgun, pointed directly at me. Don't move. I froze, knife in hand. Couldn't fight a shotgun, not at this range. Who the hell are you? My name is Thomas Dalton. I'm a private investigator. These girls' families hired me to find them. The man laughed. No humor, just cold menace. Private investigator. Came here alone. Into my house. Bad decision. Put the knife down. Now. I hesitated. Calculated odds. All bad. Put it down or I shoot you. Then I shoot them. Won't matter to me. I dropped the knife. Good. Now turn around. Hands behind your back. I complied. Had no choice. He approached. Kept the shotgun pressed against my spine. Pulled out zip ties. Industrial strength. Bound my wrists. Tight. Too tight. Cutting off circulation. Then he pushed me toward the corner. Sit down. I sat. He kicked me. Hard. In the ribs. I gasped. Stay there. He kept the gun on me. Looked at the girls. You brought him here. Let him write to me. Thought you were smart. Megan shook her head violently. Tried to speak through her gag. He ignored her. Turned back to me. You have a phone? Left pocket. He searched me roughly. Found my phone. Looked at it. Then smashed it against the wall. Screen shattered. Useless. Anyone know you're here? No. He smiled. Good. He left. Locked the passage door behind him. Heavy metal bolt sliding into place. We were trapped. Underground. No way out. I looked at the girls. Really looked at them. Megan had bruises covering her face. Black eye. Split lip. Dried blood on her chin. Zoe's left arm was wrapped in filthy cloth. Hung at wrong angle. Broken. Iris seemed physically okay, but was shaking uncontrollably. Shock. How long have you been here? I asked quietly. Megan made muffled sounds. Gestured with her head toward her gag. I scooted closer. Awkward with bound hands. Managed to pull down her gag with my fingers. She gasped. Sucked in air. 9 days. He took us the day we crashed. Crashed? We didn't crash. He ran us off the road. Big black truck. Came up behind us on that mountain highway. Rammed us. Zoe was driving. She tried to avoid him. We went over the edge. Hit that tree. We were dazed. Hurt. Then he was there. Dragging us out of the car. We fought. Tried to run. He was too strong. Had help too. His brothers. They brought us here. Threw us in this room. We've been here ever since. Why? What does he want? Megan's eyes filled with tears. I don't know. He barely speaks. Brings us food once a day. Water. That's it. Just watches sometimes. Stands there for hours. Just staring at us. We tried to escape twice. First time we almost made it to the passage. He caught us, hurt Iris, hit her. The second time Zoe tried to fight him. He broke her arm. Said next time he'd kill one of us. We haven't tried since. What about his brothers? Haven't seen them since the first day. Just him now. But we hear him talking to them sometimes. Upstairs, on the phone, planning something. Something about payment, about delivery. What kind of payment? Delivery where? Megan shook her head. We don't know. But it sounds bad. Like he's selling us. Oh God. I worked at my zip ties. Pulled. Twisted. They cut into my skin. Drew blood. Didn't budge. Plastic. Industrial strength. Needed a knife. Needed something sharp. I looked around the room. Bare earth walls. Wooden support beams. 4 chairs. Rope. Nothing useful. Nothing sharp. Nothing to cut with. We need to get out before he comes back. Before his brothers arrive. Megan shook her head. We can't. He'll hear us. The passage is the only way. And it's locked. Has to be another way. Always is. I studied the room more carefully. The support beams holding up the ceiling. Old wood. Some rotted. Some cracked. Maybe I could break one. 'Cause a collapse. Make noise. Someone might hear. No. Too dangerous. Could kill us all. The door itself. Metal. But the frame was wood. Old wood. Maybe I could break through. How? With what? I didn't know. But I had to try. Hours passed. Hard to tell time underground. No light except the single bulb. The man returned eventually, carrying a tray, food, stale bread, cheese, water bottles. He set it down, looked at me with cold eyes. Hungry? No, your loss. He untied Megan's hands, let her eat, stood over her, shotgun in hand. She ate quickly, scared. He retied her, did the same with Zoe, then Iris. Never took his eyes off them, never lowered the gun. When they finished eating, he picked up the tray, looked at me again. You're causing problems, making things complicated. My brothers are upset, told me to get rid of you, but I'm thinking maybe you're worth something too. A man, strong, healthy, someone might pay for you, just like them. I said nothing. He left, locked the door. I heard footsteps above, walking, then voices, muffled. Couldn't make out words, but definitely multiple people. The brothers had arrived. Megan heard it too. That's them. Oh God, they're here. What do they want with us? She was crying. They're going to sell us. To traffickers. We heard them talking about it, about buyers, about money, prices per girl. They've done this before. Other girls. Over the years. And no one stopped them? No one knows. These mountains. People disappear all the time. No one investigates. No one cares. Night came. The bulb stayed on. Harsh light. Constant. No darkness. No rest. The girls tried to sleep. Couldn't. Too scared. Too hurt. I stayed awake. Planning. Thinking. Had to find a way out. Had to stop this. Morning. The man returned. This time with both brothers. I saw them for the first time. One was older. Maybe 60. Thin. Weathered. Missing teeth. The other was younger. 40s. Heavy. Bearded. All 3 looked related. Same eyes. Same cold expression. The older one studied me. This the one who found them? Yeah. Private investigator. Came snooping around. Should have killed him. Younger brother said. Still can. Older brother shook his head. No. He's worth money. Sell him with the girls. Tomorrow. Buyers are coming. They looked at the girls. Appraising. Like livestock. The younger one smiled. Pointed at Iris. That one's my favorite. Pretty. Quiet. Might keep her. You can't keep any of them. Older brother said firmly. All or nothing. Buyer wants 3 girls and a man. That's what we provide. Fine. Younger brother spat. But I get first pick next time. Deal. They left. All 3. Locked the door. Tomorrow. We had less than 24 hours. I had to do something. Had to act now. I started working the zip ties again. Harder. Desperate. They cut deeper. Blood flowed. Made them slippery. But still didn't break. Plastic was too strong. Megan was watching. There's no way out. We're going to die. We're not dying. I won't let that happen. How? You're tied up. We're tied up. They have guns. How are you going to stop them? I don't know yet. But I will. She laughed. Bitter. Hopeless. You can't save us. Can't even save yourself. Maybe not. But I'm going to try. That has to count for something. She looked away. Stopped talking. Gave up. I couldn't blame her. 9 days of captivity does that. Breaks your spirit. Makes you accept the worst. I kept working the problem. Had to be away. Always was. The zip ties were impossible. But the chair I was sitting on. Old wood. Weak joints. Maybe I could break it. I started rocking. Gently at first. Testing the structure. It creaked. Good. Meant it was weak. I rocked harder. The girls watched. What are you doing? Breaking this chair. Then what? Then I free you. Then we fight our way out. That's insane. Probably. But it's our only chance. I rocked harder. The chair protested. Joints loosening. More. Harder. One of the legs cracked. Almost there. Again. The leg broke completely. Chair collapsed. I fell hard. Chains still attached, but chair was broken. I could move now. Awkward. Chair pieces hanging from my wrists, but mobile. I stood. Went to Megan. Used broken chair pieces as leverage. Worked her ropes. They were tight. Took time. My fingers were numb. Bleeding. But slowly they loosened. Came free. She gasped, rubbed her wrists, helped me with Zoe, then Iris. We were all free. Now the door, wood frame, metal door, locked from outside. I rammed it with my shoulder. Pain exploded through my arm. Door didn't budge. Again. The frame cracked. Good. Again. More cracks. One more time. The frame splintered. Door broke open. We stumbled into the passage, started climbing, reached the basement, kept going, through the house. Everything was dark, silent. Had they left? Were we alone? We reached the front door. I tried the knob, locked. Deadbolt. Needed a key. Back door. Same thing. Locked. We were trapped. Windows were all boarded from inside. Couldn't get through. Then lights blazed on, blinding. All three men stood in the hallway, blocking both exits, shotguns raised. Going somewhere? Older brother asked. We froze. Run, I shouted. Where? Just run. We scattered. Girls went toward the kitchen. I went toward the older brother. He fired. Missed. I tackled him. We went down hard. Gun flew from his hands. Other brothers were shouting, chasing the girls. I grabbed the shotgun, aimed at younger brother. He stopped. Hands up. Don't shoot. Where are the girls? Kitchen. Back door. It's locked. I backed toward the kitchen, keeping the gun trained on them. Found the girls. They were trapped. Door locked. No key. Window. I pointed. Break it. We don't have time. Iris grabbed a chair. Threw it. Glass shattered. She climbed through. Cut herself. Didn't care. Zoe followed. Then Megan. I went last. Behind me, the brothers were coming. I fired. Blast hit the door frame. Bought seconds. Climbed through. We were outside. Cold night air. Freedom. Run, I shouted. Where? Anywhere. Just away from here. We ran blindly. Into darkness. Forest surrounded the house. Thick trees. No moon. Couldn't see. Didn't matter. Just ran. Behind us shouting. Flashlights. They were coming. We crashed through undergrowth. Branches whipped faces. Roots caught feet. Megan tripped. I pulled her up, kept going. Zoe was falling behind. Broken arm made her slow. Iris helped her. We ran together. The lights were gaining. Voices closer. They knew these woods. We didn't. They'd catch us. I saw a ravine ahead. Deep. Water at bottom. Only option. Jump. I grabbed Megan's hand. What? Trust me. Jump. I pulled her over the edge. We fell. Seemed like forever. Hit water hard. Cold. Shocking. Current immediately grabbed us. Pulled us downstream. Fast. I held Megan's hand. Surfaced. Gasped. Zoe and Iris hit the water nearby. Current took them too. We were swept away. Couldn't control direction. Just held on. Tried to keep heads above water. The cold was brutal. Numbing. Exhausting. But behind us, the lights were fading. Voices growing distant. We were escaping. The river carried us for what felt like miles. Finally, the current slowed. We grabbed onto rocks, pulled ourselves to shore, collapsed, shaking, soaked, freezing, but alive. We made it. Megan gasped. We're out. Not yet. I managed to stand. They'll follow the river. We need to keep moving. I can't, Zoe said. My arm, I can't walk. You have to. We all have to, or they'll find us. I pulled her up. We walked, stumbled, through forest, away from the river. No idea where we were going. Just away. Dawn came slowly. Gray light through trees. We found a dirt road, followed it, walked for an hour, maybe more. Finally heard an engine, truck coming. I stepped into the road, waved, prayed they'd stop. The truck stopped. Window rolled down. Old man, weathered face, kind eyes. You folks need help? Yes. Police. Hospital. Please. He reached for his phone, already dialing. Sheriff Ryland arrived with 3 deputies. Ambulances came. Paramedics wrapped us in blankets, treated injuries. The girls were taken to the hospital immediately. I stayed, gave my statement, told Ryland everything. The house, the underground room, the 3 brothers, the plan to sell us. He listened, face hardening. Why didn't you call us? Tell us where you were going? No cell service. And I didn't know for sure they were there. Had to confirm first. That was reckless. Those men could have killed you. Almost did. But we got out. And now you know where they are. Ryland organized a response. 20 deputies. SWAT team from the next county. Dogs. They surrounded the property by noon. Found the house. Executed a warrant. The place was empty. Brothers were gone. Fled during the night. Underground room was still there. Blood. Ropes. Evidence of captivity. But no suspects. They'd vanished completely. Manhunt began immediately. Roadblocks. Alerts. FBI got involved. Federal charges. Kidnapping. Human trafficking. The investigation lasted weeks. Found the brothers' identities. Leonard, Raymond, and Carl Voss. Local family. Grandfather had owned the property for 50 years. They'd been living there their whole lives. Off-grid. No utilities. No internet. No paper trail. Records showed they'd had trouble before. Leonard had been arrested twice. Once for assault. Once for stalking. Charges dropped both times. Victims refused to testify. Raymond had no record. But neighbors reported suspicious behavior. Young women visiting the property. Never seen leaving. Carl was the worst. Registered sex offender. Served 6 years for assault on a minor. Released 8 years ago. Moved back to the family property. Supposed to check in with authorities? Never did. Nobody followed up. The pattern was clear. They'd been doing this for years. Taking women, selling them. The evidence was overwhelming. Investigators found records, names, dates. At least 12 women over 15 years. Most were never reported missing. Drifters, runaways, women no one looked for. But the Voss brothers were never caught. Despite the manhunt, despite the alerts, they disappeared into the mountains, vanished like ghosts. Warrants were issued. FBI put them on the most wanted list. Rewards offered. Nothing. Months passed, then a year. No sightings, no leads, nothing. The girls recovered slowly. Physically, their injuries healed. Broken bones mended. Cuts became scars. But mentally, the damage was deeper. PTSD, nightmares, anxiety, depression. Megan couldn't sleep without lights on. Every shadow made her jump. Every male voice made her flinch. She dropped out of school, moved back home, started therapy 3 times a week. Zoe finished her degree, became a therapist herself, specializing in trauma survivors, helping others process what she'd lived through, turned her pain into purpose. Iris was the quietest, stopped talking for 2 months after the rescue. When she finally spoke again, her voice was different, harder. She wrote a book about the experience, changed names, altered details, but told the story. It became a bestseller. She donated all proceeds to organizations fighting human trafficking. I wasn't much better off. The case broke something in me, shattered my confidence, my sense of safety. I couldn't work anymore. Every case reminded me of those 9 days. Every desperate family made me see Megan's face, Zoe's broken arm, Iris's terror. I'd failed them. That's how I saw it. I'd gotten captured, made things worse. They'd escaped despite me, not because of me. The nightmares started immediately. Every night I was back in that room, chained to that chair, helpless while the brothers decided our fate. I'd wake up gasping, covered in sweat, hands shaking. It took months before I could sleep through a night. Even then, the dreams persisted. Quieter, less frequent, but always there. I sold my business. Couldn't keep running it. Couldn't focus. Couldn't maintain client relationships. Other investigators bought me out, gave me enough to live on for a while. I moved cities, left Chicago, went to Portland, thought distance might help. It didn't. The ghosts followed. I started drinking. Not heavily at first. Just enough to quiet the thoughts, to dull the memories. But it escalated. 1 drink became 3. 3 became 6. 6 became blackout. I lost time. Days disappeared. I'd wake up not knowing where I'd been, what I'd done, who I'd talked to. Hit rock bottom at a bar in southeast Portland. Started a fight with someone. Don't remember why. Don't remember who. Police arrested me. Public intoxication. Assault. Spent 3 days in county jail. That's when I realized I needed help. Real help. Checked into rehab. 30-day program. Detox. Therapy. Group sessions. It was brutal. Facing yourself. Facing what you've become. But necessary. I came out different. Not healed, but functional. Started attending AA meetings. 3 times a week. Then daily. Needed the structure. The accountability. The reminder that I wasn't alone in this struggle. Got a job. Nothing fancy. Warehouse work. Loading trucks. Physical labor. Mindless. Let me think. Let me process. Let me heal in increments. Met a therapist. Dr. Reynolds. Older woman. Specialized in PTSD, trauma recovery. She didn't judge. Didn't push. Just listened. Let me talk when I was ready. Helped me understand what happened wasn't my fault. That I'd done everything I could. That survival was its own kind of victory. Took a year before I believed her. Before I stopped blaming myself. Stopped seeing myself as a failure. Started seeing myself as a survivor. Patricia stayed in touch. Called every few months. Checking in. Thanking me. I saved her daughter. Brought her home. That meant everything. I had trouble accepting gratitude. Felt like I didn't deserve it. But she insisted. You gave us back our lives. Gave Megan a future. That's everything. How is she? Getting better. Slowly. Started dating someone. Planning to go back to school. She's going to make it. I'm glad. You should visit sometime. She'd like to see you. Maybe. Someday. I never did visit. Couldn't face Megan. Couldn't look her in the eye knowing I'd failed to protect her. That she'd suffered because I'd been captured. That she'd saved herself while I sat chained to a chair. Illogical thinking. Dr. Reynolds called it survivor's guilt. Said it was normal. Said I needed to forgive myself. Easier said than done. 2 years after the case, I was working night shift at the warehouse. Loading pallets. Radio playing classic rock. Routine. Normal. Then I saw him. On the break room TV. News segment. Manhunt continues for Voss brothers. Still at large. Considered armed and dangerous. Leonard's face filled the screen. Those cold, dead eyes. That expression of barely contained violence. I had to sit down. Couldn't breathe. Panic attack. Co-worker called supervisor. They sent me home. Told me to take a few days. I drove home shaking. Couldn't stop seeing Leonard's face. Hearing his voice. Feeling the zip ties cutting into my wrists. Called Dr. Reynolds. Emergency session. She talked me down. Reminded me I was safe. That Leonard was far away. That he couldn't hurt me anymore. But he was still out there. Still free. Still hunting. That knowledge haunted me. 3 years later, I got a call. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me. Hello, Mr. Dalton? Yes. Who is this? This is Agent Frank Morrison, FBI. We spoke briefly during the Voss investigation. I remember. We've had a development in the case. My heart stopped. You found them? One of them. Leonard Voss was killed in a shootout with police in Montana 3 days ago. He'd been living under an assumed name, working at a ranch. Someone recognized him from wanted posters. Called it in. Local sheriff responded. Leonard fired on them. They returned fire. He didn't survive. What about the other two? Raymond and Carl? Still at large. But we're following leads. Think they might be together. Hiding somewhere in Canada. We'll find them. Thank you for telling me. How are you doing, Mr. Dalton? I know the case affected you. I'm managing. Getting better. Good. You're a hero. You know that? You saved those girls. Gave them their lives back. I don't feel like a hero. You should. What you did took courage. Took sacrifice. Don't diminish that. I hung up. Sat in silence. Leonard was dead. 1 down. 2 to go. It should have brought relief. Closure. But it didn't. Because Raymond and Carl were still out there. Still free. Still dangerous. And I couldn't do anything about it. 4 years after the case, I attended Megan's wedding. She'd invited me. Insisted I come. Said I was part of her story. Part of her survival. I almost didn't go. Almost made excuses. But Zoe called. Convinced me. She needs to see you. Needs to thank you properly. Needs closure. We all do. So I went. Small ceremony. Outdoor venue. Mountains in the background. Ironic given everything. But beautiful. Megan looked radiant. Happy. Healed. She saw me. Ran over. Hugged me tight. Thank you. For everything. For saving my life. I didn't save you. You saved yourself. We saved each other. She pulled back. Looked me in the eye. I mean it. Thank you. You came when no one else did. You risked everything. That matters. I nodded, unable to speak. Zoe was there. Iris, too. We sat together during the ceremony. Watched Megan marry a good man. Someone who knew her story. Who loved her anyway. Who helped her heal. At the reception, Zoe told me about her practice. Thriving. Helping dozens of trauma survivors. Making a real difference. Iris had written a second book. Fiction this time. Thriller about human trafficking. Using her platform to raise awareness. Both were channeling their trauma into purpose. Into helping others. Into making sure what happened to them didn't happen to anyone else. What about you? Zoe asked. How are you? I'm okay. Working, sober, seeing a therapist? That's good. Are you back to investigating? No. Couldn't go back to that. Couldn't put myself in that position again. Understandable. Trauma changes you. Changes what you can handle. You found us. Brought us home. That's enough. You don't owe anyone anything else. Maybe. But I still feel like I failed you. Like I should have done more. Prevented it entirely. Zoe shook her head. You didn't fail us. You succeeded. We're alive because of you. All 3 of us. We have lives, futures, families. That's because you didn't give up. Because you came for us. That's success, not failure. Her words helped. More than she knew. Gave me perspective I'd been lacking. Let me start forgiving myself. Start accepting that survival was enough. That I'd done what I could. 5 years after the case, I got another call. Agent Morrison again. We found them. Raymond and Carl Voss. Where? Northern Canada. Living off-grid. Tips led us to them. Canadian authorities arrested them yesterday. They're being extradited. We'll face trial in Wyoming. Thank you for telling me. Thought you'd want to know. There's more. What? They had evidence. Documentation. Of other victims. 12 women total over 18 years. Some bodies were recovered. Others are still missing. But we have names now. Families can have closure. My God. It's over now. They're going to prison. Federal charges. Life sentences. They'll never hurt anyone again. I hung up. Felt strange. Empty. This should have been the moment. The closure I'd been seeking. Justice served. Bad guys caught. But it didn't feel like victory. Just felt like the end of a long nightmare. The damage was done. The women were dead. The survivors were scarred. Justice came too late. Always too late. The trial happened 6 months later. I didn't attend. Couldn't face them. Couldn't sit in that courtroom and see their faces, hear their voices, relive that underground room. Megan, Zoe, and Iris all testified. Brave, strong, faced their captors in court, told their stories. The jury took 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. Raymond got life without parole. Carl got life without parole plus 50 years. They'd die in prison. Old men forgotten by everyone except their victims. Megan called me after sentencing. It's over. Really over. How do you feel? Relieved. Angry. Sad. All at once. But mostly just tired. I understand. You should be proud. You helped put them away. Your testimony mattered. Maybe. But it doesn't bring anyone back. Doesn't undo what happened. No. But it stops them from hurting anyone else. That has to count for something. It does. It really does. We talked for an hour. About healing. About moving forward. About finding peace with what happened. She'd found hers. Was building a life. Had a husband. A career. Plans for the future. I was still searching for mine. Still working through the trauma. still fighting nightmares, but getting better, slowly, incrementally, one day at a time. 6 years after the case, I finally visited their graves. The 12 women Raymond and Carl had killed. Their bodies had been recovered, identified, returned to families. Most were buried in small cemeteries across multiple states. I visited them over 2 weeks, drove from grave to grave, paying respects, apologizing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't find you, didn't save you, didn't stop them before they got to you. Each grave broke me a little more. Each name, each date, each life stolen. These women had families, had dreams, had futures, all taken by 3 monsters who faced no consequences for years. The system had failed them, failed to stop the Voss brothers, failed to investigate reports, failed to connect the patterns, failed to care about missing women from vulnerable populations. That failure cost 12 lives, maybe more. Bodies still unrecovered, women still missing, families still wondering. I couldn't save them, but I could remember them, could honor them, could make sure their stories weren't forgotten. I started a foundation, small, modest, funded by my savings and donations, focused on missing persons cases involving vulnerable populations, women, minorities, LGBTQ individuals, people the system overlooked, people who disappeared without investigation. We partnered with local police, offered resources, free investigation services, database tracking, anything to help find the missing before it was too late. The work gave me purpose. Let me channel my trauma into something constructive, something that might prevent another family from losing someone, another victim from suffering like Megan, Zoe, and Iris, another investigator from experiencing what I'd experienced. It wasn't redemption, wasn't healing, but it was something, a way forward, a reason to keep going despite the nightmares, despite the scars, despite everything. 7 years after the case, I finally slept through the night without dreaming, woke up naturally, refreshed, no panic, no terror, just peace. It was the first time since that basement, since those chains, since those 9 days. Dr. Reynolds called it a breakthrough, said I'd finally processed the trauma, integrated it into my story without letting it define me, said I was healing, really healing. Maybe she was right. Maybe time and work and purpose had finally done what therapy alone couldn't. Maybe I'd finally forgiven myself for being human, for being captured, for not being invincible, for surviving. I still think about them. Megan, Zoe, Iris, the 12 women who didn't survive, the Voss brothers rotting in prison, Leonard dead in Montana. It's always there. Background noise in my mind. Reminder of what humans are capable of, the evil that exists in dark places, but also the resilience, the strength, the capacity to survive and rebuild. Megan got her life back, married, had a career, found happiness. Zoe turned her trauma into a calling, helped others heal, made meaning from suffering. Iris used her voice, told stories, raised awareness, changed systems. They didn't just survive, they thrived. That's what I hold on to. That's what gets me through the hard days, the flashbacks, the moments when I'm back in that room, back in those chains, back in that helplessness. They made it, built lives worth living, found joy after horror. They can do that. If they can transform that experience into something productive, something meaningful, then maybe I can too. Maybe my scars can be reminders of strength, not failure. Maybe my nightmares can coexist with purpose. Maybe survival is enough. The case changed me, broke me, rebuilt me different. I'm not the same person who took Patricia's call 7 years ago. That version of me died in that basement. This version is quieter, more careful, more aware of human capacity for evil, but also more aware of human capacity for resilience, for healing, for hope. I don't investigate missing persons anymore. Can't. But I help those who do. Provide resources, funding, support. Make sure they don't face what I faced. Make sure they have backup, have tools, have protection. It's not the same, but it's enough. Has to be. Because some cases don't end. Some trauma doesn't heal completely. Some scars stay open, forever reminding you, forever warning you, forever changing you. This case, these girls, these 9 days, they're part of me now, permanent, unchangeable. I carry them every day, in my thoughts, my dreams, my decisions. They shaped who I became, for better or worse. I'm the man who found them, who saved them, who survived with them, and that has to be enough, because it's all I have, all any of us have, our survival, our scars, our story, and the choice to keep going despite everything, to build meaning from pain, to find purpose in trauma, to help others avoid what we endured. That's my life now. Not what I planned, not what I wanted, but what I have. And maybe that's okay. Maybe survival is its own kind of victory. Maybe helping others is enough. Maybe peace isn't the absence of trauma, just learning to live alongside it, to carry it without being crushed by it, to remember without drowning in memory. 7 years later, I'm still here, still fighting, still trying, still healing in increments too small to measure but real, nonetheless. The Voss brothers took a lot from me, my career, my confidence, my sense of safety, but they didn't take everything. I'm still standing, still breathing, still trying to make the world safer than I found it. And maybe that's all any of us can do. Survive. Remember, fight, help. One day at a time, one case at a time, one life saved at a time, until the nightmares fade, until the scars become stories, until the trauma becomes just another part of who we are. Not all we are, just part, and maybe someday that'll be enough. Thanks for watching till the end. Make sure to subscribe and like to not miss the next story.